equipped. We have the up-to-date modern life-saving equipment. It comes in the form of life rings, life rafts and life jackets. Now on the way upstream we do pass buildings of interest, some different landmarks and bridges. I know some of you have been on the boat with us already today. I will try and change the commentary a bit for you so it adds to what I told you earlier, okay? Now if you look in front of the Motor Tower Bridge, look at the top catwalks between the towers. This is part of the Tower Bridge experience. You pay about £12.50 to look round the bridge, see the workings and the engine rooms and all the history behind it. The stonework on the bridge is here purely for decoration. You could take all the stone off the bridge and it would still work perfectly. Built in the Gothic style to blend in with the Tower of London. The colour of the bridge, the red, white and blue, it was originally painted chocolate brown. Queen Victoria's favourite colour was chocolate brown. They changed the colour of the bridge in 1971 for the Queen's Silver Jubilee. Red, white and blue is the colours of the bridge today. These centre parts of the bridge, so if you look as we go through, these are two separate parts. These are called bascules and they are so finely balanced they can be lifted in under 1 minute to allow the big tall masted ships into this part of the river. Now if you look at the Tower of London you can see there's lots of different styles of building where they built it up and added onto it over different reigning monarchs. The central tower with the 4 roofs, the Norman Keep or the White Tower. Behind that, so you can see the building just behind it, that is where the crown jewels are kept. They are guarded by 32 yeoman wardens, the beefeaters at the tower. Traitor's Gate on the river wall was bricked up because the river water was rotting the foundations of the tower, so they bricked up Traitor's Gate. Years ago the whole of the tower was surrounded by water. If you look over here to the right inland you can see a building with the statues and the pointed roof. That is Trinity House. And that used to belong to the people that looked after all the lighthouses in Great Britain. Today the Port of London Authority own the building. Ahead of the boat on the left we have the warship HMS Belfast. She was built in 1938 in the Harland and Wolff shipyard in Belfast, Northern Ireland. The main guns are 12 and 6-inch guns, 6 on the forward deck and 6 on the after deck. They fired a shell weighing 100 weight over 14 land miles. This ship had a crew of 800 men and not one man lost his life while serving on the Belfast. If you look at the front of the ship you can see the flagpole and the flag. Now the flagpole on the front of a naval ship is called a jackstaff. When that flag is flying on the jackstaff, you call it a Union Jack. When that flag is flying on the front of this boat or on a building like it is to the left, you call it a Union Flag. So only call it a Union Jack when it is flying on the head of a Royal Naval ship. All the buildings here on the left make up London Bridge City. These are all privately owned by the Kuwaiti royal family. The Shard of Glass is the tallest building in Western Europe. It's over 1,000 feet tall. On the 72nd floor there's a public viewing gallery. The middle of the building is a 6-star hotel. The building was designed by an Italian, Renzo Piano. He was the man who designed the Shard at London Bridge. He was never paid for the design of the building. He was given the penthouse suite at the very top. He lived in that for 1 year and he sold it for £50 million. Not bad for drawing a triangle. I've already done very well there. Ahead of the boat we have London Bridge. Now this bridge was opened 1973 by our late Queen, Queen Elizabeth II. The previous London Bridge, it was sinking into the river. That bridge was taken down stone by stone. All the stones were numbered and they were put on a ship. They were taken over to America, taken to Arizona, where they rebuilt the bridge, Lake Havasu City in America. Has anyone seen the bridge in America? Has anyone ever heard that story before? Does anyone really care? Okay. It's definitely there, just believe me. Over here on the left hand side we have Southwark Cathedral. Nice picture of the cathedral on the left. In the dockway there's a replica of Sir Francis Drake's ship, the Golden Hind. Drake was the first Englishman to sail the world on a ship identical to that one. The old warehouses on the left, Pickford's Wharf and the Winchester Wharves. Now the bottom part of Pickford's Wharf is a pub, the old Thames side inn, and Winchester Wharf's Riverside Apartments. Head of the boat we've got Cannon Street Railway Bridge. Cannon Street station is on the right. Now look over to the right, under the bridge, you'll see a glass box. This is a relaxation spa and sauna. Look through the windows and you can see semi-naked people on display. They thought they was being clever, putting it under a bridge so no one could see them. They obviously forgot boats go past every 5 minutes. Believe me, some days are better than others. Some days I really wish I hadn't looked over there. On the river foreshore to our right we have a barge with grey containers. In those grey containers London's household rubbish. Any rubbish that cannot be recycled, it's put into the containers, it's taken away by the London Thames. The rubbish is taken down the river to an incineration plant where they burn rubbish and generate electricity. The bridge here is Southwark Road Bridge. Through the bridge on the right we've got Vintners Place. This building on the right belongs to the Vintners Company. They are the old wine merchants of London. Any imported alcohol that comes into the country, before it goes onto the market, it has to be tasted. And those people have got a terrible job, ladies and gentlemen. They have to sit in there drinking. What a terrible job. Over to our left we have the Globe Theatre of William Shakespeare. The only building to have a timber frame and thatched roof since the Great Fire of London. In the summertime they perform Shakespearean plays. Plays are performed in a traditional way with no microphone or stage lighting. This was the dream of an American film producer, Sam Wanamaker. He brought the Globe back to Bankside in the 1990s. And so a lovely experience to visit the building watching a Shakespearean play. The bridge ahead of us was built for the year 2000. It's called the Millennium Footbridge. It's better known as the Wibbly Wobbly Bridge. Opened on a Saturday morning by the Queen, closed the same afternoon by the police. Too many people on the bridge, it started to bounce. The bridge was so light, the weight of the people made it bounce. So they had to shut the bridge and re-strengthen it. It's now safe, as you can see. On the right we have the City of London's school. Daniel Radcliffe went to school there, the boy who played Harry Potter. St Paul's Cathedral on the right, the masterpiece of Sir Christopher Wren. It took 35 years to build, completed in 1710. Above the dome on St Paul's, the public viewing gallery, and worth the effort to walk to the top and view over London. Look at the bridge in front of you and then go to the right. Just over the top of the bridge there's a church over there, St Bride's Church in Fleet Street, or the Wedding Cake Church. Look at the spire. A young couple got married in the church. They had the local baker bake their cake like the church spire. That is where the traditional tiered wedding cake design came from, the Church of St Bride's in Fleet Street. Going under the bridge, look over to the left between the two bridges and you'll see a modern building. One is being built, the one next door is finished. Look at the top of that glass tower, the penthouse at the very top. Sold last year for £80 million. 80 million. It's the top 4 floors of the building. It's a massive space uncovered. Through the bridge on the right we've got the embankment here is new. So where these trees are, all this embankment wall along here where the barges with the crane is new. They built a new sewer system for London and so they made the river more narrow here. Can you see where that workman is standing in the orange clothes? If you see these, wait till you see where these black things are, look through the gap there, see where they're standing? That is the original river wall, so they've made the river more narrow. So work has been going on here for about 10 years, a massive project. Lots of different sites along the river they've done work for the new sewer. Years and years ago, the river used to be even wider here. So if you look in front of us, see this river wall with the lions' heads? The water used to go right up to the front of the buildings. In the 1860s, they built a new sewer system for London, or built a sewer system. Behind the river wall and under the road is the Victorian sewer pipes of London. Now, a famous company, Royal Dalton, I'm sure you've heard of Royal Dalton, they were the people that actually made the pipes. The clay pipes for the sewer were produced by Royal Dalton. So they had a factory on the river and they had the contract there to put all the clay pipes in through London. Over here on the right hand side of the boat, you'll see by the lamppost there's a blue box. That is an old police call box. Before the police had a radio to communicate, they run to the box and they would then telephone the station. Even the red telephone box, a very famous symbol of London, is pretty rare today. The stone arch in the river wall is Temple Arch or Temple Bar, the official boundary for the two cities. The Wellington on our right was part of the New Zealand Navy years ago. It's a livery hall today, a drinking club for retired sea captains. If you look ahead of the boat, ladies and gentlemen, on the left, the London Eye, Waterloo Bridge and the clock tower. Makes a nice picture here if you've got your camera. Before the bridge on our left we have the National Theatre. It's the building with the advertisement screen running across the front of it. King Charles, when he first saw this building, he said it reminded him of a nuclear power station. So he didn't like the building very much. They say inside it has 3 very fine concert halls. The Olivier is the main one. Laurence Olivier, the founder. Have a look over here on the right. Now it's a lovely building, Somerset House, built over 200 years ago for the Dukes and the Earls of Somerset. We've got the Tower Lifeboat Station on our right. Tower Lifeboat, the busiest lifeboat station in the country. They get more call-outs than any coastal port Tower Lifeboat. We have the Waterloo Traffic Bridge. This is the longest traffic bridge over the river in central London. built by ladies during the Second World War. Whilst the men were at war fighting, the girls at home under construction. The bridge here was one of them. And I'm sure we can agree, gentlemen, the ladies made an excellent job. I am told this is the only bridge on the river that was built on time and under budgets. So well done, the girls. On the river wall we have a stone column, Cleopatra's Needle, given to us by an Egyptian government. That was in thanks over defeating Napoleon and the French fleet at the Battle of the River Nile. That's Cleopatra's Needle. All the area to the left, the South Bank, the Royal Festival Hall, the Queen Elizabeth Hall and the Purcell Rooms. Last bridge, folks, Charing Cross. Look at the train station. It's the modern building up here with the curved roof. This is called Embankment Place, and it covers the platforms of Charing Cross railway station. The building was designed by Terry Farrell to look like a train leaving a railway tunnel. Look at it very closely and you can see that it does look nothing like a train coming from anywhere. It does look more like an old American jukebox, the old Wurlitzer. Through the bridge we look ahead of us. On the left hand side we have the London Eye. The London Eye, 450 feet tall. There's 32 pods or carriages. There's 25 people in each pod. Get on and get off as the wheel is moving. At the top of the wheel on a clear day, you can see about 35 miles across London. It's now carried over 85 million people, the most visited tourist attraction in the country. People do ask how they built it, and it is a great feat of engineering. They built a massive platform out in the river. Now, ladies and gentlemen, they built a platform out in the river, ladies and gentlemen. They towed the London Eye up in sections. All the sections were put onto the platform and bolted together. It was built laying flat in the river like this. They then needed to lift it into the upright position. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that lifting took 72 hours. And it was quite interesting to watch them do it. So a great feat of engineering, the London Eye. Look ahead of the boat on the right hand side, folks, we have the Houses of Parliament. The Palace at Westminster, the seat of the British government. Now the clock tower is known around the world as Big Ben. Big Ben is a nickname for the bell inside the tower that chimes on every hour. The real name of the clock, the Great Clock at Westminster. The bell inside the tower, Big Ben. So you can hear Big Ben, you cannot see it. Big Ben is the bell and not the clock. So when you go home, someone will say to you, did you see Big Ben when you went to London? And you will say, yes, no, you didn't see it, did you? You heard it. You wasn't listening. Let's say you can hear it, you can't see it. So you have to say you didn't see it, okay? Don't forget. Now, folks, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, everyone, for your very kind attention. I hope you have understood and enjoyed the few words. Please remain seated until the boat is safely on the pier. Don't ruin your day by leaving something on board. This boat is out of service. If you want to return or go to Greenwich, I know the man was asking about the Greenwich boat, sir. So it's the boat in front of us on the pier. So when you get off, just walk along. There is a waiting room. If you look over here, the glass waiting area where there's a few people, if you take a seat there, and the boat will leave at 4, so they'll start getting you on about 3:45, okay? Now ladies and gentlemen, make sure you've got everything with you, and I will be at the gate to help you off. As we said folks, we are the crew of the boat. Our job is your safety. The people that own the boat do not employ a professional tour guide, so you are stuck with me. I do try my best to provide a commentary on every journey, hopefully to make it more enjoyable. As the commentary on the boat is given entirely voluntary by us, the crew, we have an old tradition. When you leave the boat down by the exit gate, you'll see me with this bucket, the captain's beer bucket, our old tip bucket, and you're more than welcome to drop something in our little bucket. Anything that we collect in our bucket does not go to waste. It does go towards the very, very intense research that we carry out in our local riverside pub after work. Thank you ladies and gentlemen, and have a lovely day. Thanks for listening everyone. Thank you.